Hi, my name's Dan and welcome to another video from King Dweeb Books. In this video I'll be showing you the books I read in the month of October, and I am also going to be showing you the books I am hoping to read in the month of November, so this month. So let's kick things off. The first book that I read or finished off reading at the beginning of October was The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. This is the second book in the Fifth Wave trilogy. I have mentioned in my review on Goodreads, which is quite short, but I'll link it in the description below, that not a lot of people like this one. It is super short, it's far shorter than the first book was, by comparison, and honestly it wasn't as good either. There was something lacking. I mean, it was a little bit confusing. I mean, I didn't find it confusing to start with, like I did for the first couple of parts of it, because there were a couple of chapters where you didn't know who was talking, but I did get that quite fast, who was talking, but I enjoyed it, but I didn't like it as much as the first one. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was The Screaming Staircase, which is the first book in the Lockwood & Co series by Jonathan Stroud. And I gave this book... what did I give it? I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I'm not going to go too much into this book because I am wanting to do a video review of this within the next week. But I really enjoyed it. I could see some slight similarities between this and the Skullduggery Pleasant series. It was really good. I cannot wait to pick up the next one. So yeah, I'll talk more about it in my video review next week. The third book I read in the month of October was Asylum by Madeline Rue. I was originally intending to give this book 3 out of 5 stars, but there was something about it that made me want to give it 4 out of 5, so that's the rating I gave it. I mean, first of all, can we just talk about how scary that looks? I mean, I will definitely be picking up the second book, which the cover looks as scary as this. I mean, this is another play on the idea of incorporating found pictures into the book, like Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, and I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a little bit predictable, which I mentioned in my Goodreads review, so I'll link that in the description below. But I enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it. I mean, obviously it is a scary read, that's why I read it in October. But yeah, it were lacking something. I mean, it was, as I said, it was a little bit predictable, because I knew the person that ended up doing all the bad things was going to be the person that I thought it was. So yeah, I'll leave the link. I'll leave the link to my Goodreads review in the description below, so you can check that out there. The next book I read in the month of October was Alice in Zombieland by Gina Showalter, and this is the first book in the White Rabbit Chronicles. I mean, the thing that I didn't like about this is because I thought she was actually going to a place like Wonderland where it was full of zombies, but it was actually the real world, and there were zombies there. I mean, I did see a lot of similarities between this, between the Hush Hush series and the Mortal Instruments series as well, in the way that there were zombies and people hunting zombies. So the zombies were basically like the angels in this, basically, and then the zombie hunters were the shadow hunters in the Mortal Instruments series. I enjoyed it. I will definitely be picking up the next 2 books in the series, and I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read in the month of October was Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. First of all, this book is a floppy American paperback, and I mean, it's been like this since I first got it, and that is beyond a joke. That is beyond a joke. Apparently the humidity got to it. Something got to it. Possibly not humidity. Anyway, I really enjoyed this book. I am not going to go into too much detail with this one either, because I am wanting to do a video review of it next week. Basically, this is a continuation of the Wizard of Oz. Basically, Dorothy has found a way to get back to Oz, and everything's gone, pardon my language, everything's just gone to shit, basically. Everyone's corrupted, and basically the good people, like the Good Witch of the North, may not be who she says she is or who she's made out to be, and basically the wicked may not be as wicked as what you'd think. So basically this world has basically been flipped on its head, and everything is completely messed up. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I would definitely recommend picking this book up. Keep a lookout next week for my video review on this. I will definitely be picking up the next book in the series, which comes out next year. I'll mention that in my next month, in my anticipated release of 2015, and I will also be picking up the 2 prequel novellas, ebooks, as soon as I have a bit of money left. But yeah, it was really good. Basically, it follows a girl called Amy Gum, who is the other girl from Kansas who gets whisked away to Oz, and she discovers everything is. But as I said, I will be talking about this in my video review next week. The next book I read in October was Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. This is the second book in the Griffith trilogy. I mean, the first one being Shadow and Bone. The reason I gave it 4 stars is because it wasn't as good as the first one. It wasn't as gripping. I mean, it did get good towards the end when I picked it back up. I did read a few chapters to begin with, but it wasn't as good as the first book. I would definitely recommend it, and I'm definitely picking up the last book in the series, but it could have been a little bit better. I hope the third one redeems this trilogy. Now, the next 2 books are the last 2 books I read in October, and I did mention them in the second part of my October book haul, so I'll link that in the description below. The first of these 2 is Horror Store that I read. I really enjoyed it. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I cannot honestly remember if I did a video review for this. If I did, well, not a video review, a Goodreads review for this. If I did, I'll link it in the description below. If not, then yeah, I liked it. I really liked it. It would. Well, I think I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I did give this book 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I don't know, if you just bear with me a couple of minutes, I don't know if I did a video review of this. I've just completely messed up Goodreads on my phone. Not a video review, a Goodreads review of this. Just watch the book swaying. That's what I'd do. I honestly cannot believe it. I did not write a review for this on Goodreads. So, no, I'm not going to link it in the description below because I didn't write a review. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. And I hope that Grady Hendrix does something else like this. I mean, it does kind of leave it at the end there, Planet Baby, to carry on to some more things. It was good. It was a good idea to do it, to lay the book out like this. And the final book I read in October, which isn't actually the final book because I finished that last night. The final book I read in October was Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops by Jane Campbell. There were quite a few laugh out loud quotes in this that customers actually said, and also a few eye-rolling ones. I mean, a couple of my favourites. I think I mentioned my favourite one on the back about the Lionel Richie one, but these two are funny. Customer, do you have that book? I forget what it's called. It's about people with large hairy feet. Do you mean Hobbits? The Lord of the Rings? No, the Hairy Bikers. And this one. Do you have any pop-up books on sex education? There are some people that there may be a customer base for that. People would actually buy, some weird people would actually buy that, not me. So those are the books I read in October, and just to... This lighting is stupid. I should have filmed it earlier today. Just to say, I only found out yesterday, but I have gone over the total books I was going to read this year. I set myself a goal of 50 books, which I changed twice. However, I changed it back to 50 books, and I have so far read 51 books this year. Yay! Mini celebration. Random. After the weird celebration that was just there, I'm now going to show you the books I hope to read in November. I say hope to read. Probably won't read one of them. I am wanting to read it, but not at this minute. I have a pile of books that I'm wanting to read, but not at this minute. I mean, I did start 2 books last month and never finished them. First, one of them was Stephen King's The Shining. Couldn't get into it. And now they could get into The Diviners, and I think I got 6 chapters into that. I don't know. I think I've probably only got a few chapters into it. Anyway, procrastinating here. So the first book I'm hoping to read, which I've already started, is Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. This is the 3rd book in the Hunger Games series, in the Hunger Games trilogy. If you don't know where it is, you've been living under a rock for a good few years. I'm not going to go into it because it's the 3rd book in the series. I am wanting to read it before part 1 comes out. A lot of people have said this, where this book is not big enough to be split into 2 parts, and it's not a thick enough book to end a series. I enjoyed it. I think last time I read it, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. That smells so nice. Anyway, I am wanting to read this before Mockingjay Part 1 comes out. I am super duper excited for that film. That is my most anticipated film of 2014. I cannot wait to watch it. So this is going to be finished before then, I hope. The next book I picked out of my TBR jar, and that is Light by Michael Grant. This is the 6th and final book? 6th and final book in the Gone series. I am not going to go into anything about this except for the fact it's the 6th and final book, and a quick spoiler, it's got black pages if you buy this edition. I'm not going to go into anything about this because it's the last book in a series, but it was a bit rocky, this series. It did start to it got a bit boring towards the middle. Fear was good, and I cannot wait to see where this one ends the series. I am definitely going to pick up some more of Michael Grant's books, because there are the 3 Berserk books that are out at the minute, and then there's also Even Adam, which he wrote with his wife Catherine Applegate, and then there's also Messenger of Fear, which is apparently really scary. So I'm going to read this book and the rest of the books that I'm wanting to read this month. And the last 4 books I'm wanting to read this month are all part of the series, the first few books in the series. I am wanting to marathon them. I have never ever marathoned any books in my entire life, and that they are the first 4 books in the Throne of Glass series. I did ask a fellow booktuber on Twitter see which books I should read first, because I thought I'd read them that order. So the prequels first and then the series. But she said that it was better to read them, the first book and the second book, and go back to this one, because with these two you're trying to guess what happens in Alina's past. Is it Lena? It's not Alina, it's Selena. What happens in Selena's past, and then go into Heir of Fire, which I am going to do that. I'm going to try it, and I cannot wait to read it. These are really, really hurting. This is really hurting my wrist. So these are all the books I read in October, which I am quite surprised I read. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I read 8 books in October. That is the most I've actually read in a month, I think. Yeah, I've left links in the description below as to which books, as to the reviews on Goodreads. And I am quickly going to show you the books I hope to read in November as well. And these are the books I hope to read in November, which I possibly might not be reading that one. I am wanting to read it, but because I'm more hyped for these and wanting to read that before the film comes out, I might not have time for that. I'll also leave details in the description on where you can buy these books, should you want to buy them. And I'll see you next week with hopefully 2 more videos of the books I said I'm going to do a video review of. I will see you then. See you later.